The 31st of December, 1917. New Year's was meant to be festive, filled with cheers and resolutions, but this year, we weren't celebrating much at all. The air felt heavy, like there was something missing. I had gotten a toy plane for my birthday, a wind-up model that could take flight on its own. It was a small joy in a world that felt increasingly uncertain. The plane was neat, a simple escape that didn't ask much of me. It was also a reminder of the quiet times, the ones where I wasn't worrying about wars or homework. At half the price of my bike, it seemed like a small thing, but I cherished it just the same. My bike was my main companion, used almost daily to explore the neighborhood, but this plane, it gave me a moment of simple, carefree distraction. I named it the MacDougall. I don't know where that idea came from, but it just felt right. It looked just like a MacDougall. "Watch this, Papa!" I exclaimed as I wound up the little plane and sent it soaring through the air. It flew straight and true for a few seconds, but then, bam, it hit my father square on the nose. His hand flew to his face, and I could already see the trickle of blood. "Ow," he yelped, though more surprised than hurt. A nosebleed, what my old pediatrician liked to call epistaxis, had started. "I'm so sorry, Papa." I rushed over, feeling a surge of guilt. I hadn't meant to hurt him, of course. I just wanted to show him my neat little toy, but now my plane demonstration had turned into a medical situation. "Don't worry about it," my father said, waving me off as he pinched his nose to stop the bleeding. "Cassandra, could you give me a handkerchief?" he called out to my mother. Her full name was Cassandra Lee Ann South, but I'd never dream of calling her that. To me, she was always Mom, anything else, and I'd be in for it. If I'd ever dared to call her Cassandra, I knew she'd have whooped my ass without a second thought. She hurried over with a handkerchief, pressing it gently into my father's hand. "What happened?" she asked, glancing from me to the plane still lying on the ground. "Just a little misfire," he chuckled, downplaying the nosebleed. "I see that," my mother scowled, her gaze sharp enough to cut through my already thick layer of shame. It wasn't just a drop of guilt I felt, it was an entire river of it, flowing right through me. "I'm truly sorry, Mama," I blurted out, hoping to ease the tension. She sighed, softening her tone. "I know you are, sweetie. I'm not angry at you, just a bit concerned." Concerned for me? That didn't make much sense. "I'll be okay, I promise," I said, giving her a thumbs up, trying to reassure her, even though I still felt like a clumsy kid. "I know you will be," she chuckled lightly, her scowl melting away. Feeling a little more at ease, I changed the subject. "Aren't our neighbors coming?" I asked, growing anxious about their absence. "Garfield has appendicitis, they can't come," my father explained matter-of-factly. "Damn," I sighed, disappointed. Before I could react, I felt my mother's warning glare. "Don't say that word, Jeremiah," she cautioned. When she warned you, she meant business, and I knew better than to argue. "Sorry," I muttered, realizing this would be one of those days where I had to watch my words, too. "Now, let's celebrate," Father exclaimed boldly. "Let's do it," Mother said significantly less boldly. My father's watch, a polished timepiece that had seen better days, began to inch toward the 60 mark, each tick resonating in the heavy silence of the room. The atmosphere was thick with an indescribable tension, as if the air itself were charged with anticipation. Every passing second felt like a heartbeat, a rhythmic occurrence that underscored the weight of the moment. It was a reminder of the fragility of time, each tick a poignant reminder of what was at stake. I could almost hear the collective breath of my family, held tight in our chests, waiting for something, anything, to break the oppressive stillness that had settled over us. "Happy New Year," my father exclaimed, his voice echoing with a mix of joy and relief as the clock struck midnight. "Welcome to 1918," I replied dryly, a hint of sarcasm slipping through my otherwise subdued demeanor. "Let's make the best of this year, shall we?" he asked, looking between my mother and me, his eyes sparkling with a hopeful glimmer. "Let's make the best of it," we both echoed in unison, our voices mingling in the air, a shared commitment to embrace whatever the year ahead might hold. The air was charged with a newfound optimism, a collective resolve to face the uncertainties of the coming months together. Despite the shadows cast by the past year, there was a flicker of hope in our hearts, a belief that perhaps this year could bring change, healing, and brighter days. I drifted off to sleep at midnight, grateful that my parents had indulged me long enough to witness the new year unfold. The excitement of the evening had worn me down, and despite my initial intention to dive into *White Fang* by Jack London, the weight of my eyelids proved too heavy to resist. As I lay in bed, the gentle hum of the world outside faded into a comforting lullaby. I closed my eyes, letting the events of the night wash over me, though I felt a subtle absence. There was no goodnight kiss to tuck me in this time. The warmth and familiarity of my mother's embrace were missing, leaving an unspoken void. In the stillness, I let out a soft sigh, surrendering to the quiet darkness that enveloped me. Sleep came swiftly, welcoming me into its embrace, where dreams danced on the edges of my consciousness.